Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today outside again on some more shorts content. I think, it's the summer, so it's probably useful that we do have a look at some shorts. Recently we looked at the Pentagon Tactical Greyman shorts, but what we're here today to look at are the Pentagon Renegade Savanna shorts. Now, if memory serves me correctly, there's two versions of these. There are the Renegade shorts and the Renegade Savannas. These are the Savannas, which there is a subtle difference with this reinforced section in the seat. I believe, again, if memory serves me correctly, that they're both very similar. In fact, they're pretty much identical. It just depends on whether you want that reinforcement in the rear. But yes, the version that we're having a look at today are the Renegade Savanna shorts. Now, if at any point I just refer to them as the Renegades and I forget to add the Savanna, then I apologise about that, but I thought it was important that we just make that point at this crucial moment. Now, before I get into this, I just want to start, as I usually do when I make content, especially around clothes, is the fact that as far as the size for these are concerned, I'm a 36-inch waist and these are a size 36-inch waist and they fit me perfectly. I'm 5'10", I weigh about 100 kilos, which is about 220 pounds. I'd say I'm probably an average dad build. I have that athletic dad bod. But yes, as far as size is concerned, they really do fit me perfectly. For a 36-inch waist, they fit exactly as a 36-inch waist should do. Now, as far as colours and materials are concerned, there's 4 different colours of these. These are the Coyote versions, but they're also available in green, in grey, it's either grey or black, and also in a kind of a royal blue kind of colour. The materials wise, these are made from polyester and elastin. Now, there's quite a few different properties to this. First of all, there's quite a heavy DWR coating on this. Now, when we talk about DWR coatings, it's very rare that manufacturers get into specifics of it, a grade 4 DWR coating. So if you do manage to get these wet, especially if it's a light, medium rain, the water really does just brush off them. They're also stitched, woven, however the material or the fabric is made for these, so that these are classed as wind-proof or wind-stopper material as well. I believe as these are the short versions, there are also some long trouser pants versions of these, which probably would be a little bit more useful as far as that wind-stopper material is concerned. They are open at the bottom here, which will blow up your leg. However, if you're concerned about that, especially if, again, you're wearing shorts, maybe you might have some gaiters on or whatever it is you've got on the bottom, but yes, really nice material. As we usually do, we'll start at the top and we'll kind of work our way down. So here on the waist, now the waist fastening on this, I'm sure hopefully you will all agree, because I know a lot of you do ask. In the past, a lot of shorts and trousers generally tend to have what do they have? They have hook and loop here at the top. These do not have hook and loop on the top. You have a fairly traditional closure on here. So on the main one for this is you have one of these studs, but then also on the inside here there is also an additional button. So when you put this on, first of all you have to put this button on here, and then you put those on here. Now, if you've seen me do the Pentagon Wolf tactical pants, it's exactly the same setup with this. Now, I will say, when I first got these, I wore them for a day and the button came off, so I had to stitch the button back on. That might have been the person that was stitching the button on for that day. It just wasn't put on securely enough. These things happen from time to time, but I managed to find the button and I put it back on. As far as the zipper on this is concerned, it is a good old-fashioned YKK brass zipper. I do like the closure on this, especially with that second button. I find that it just makes one that it's, well, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very secure, but it also means that there's very little stress on this main button here when it's pulling, because it's got 2 points that it's just holding it in place. Now all the way around, so 2 at the front, onto the sides of your hips, then 2 behind there, and then a larger central one here. You have the belt loops on here to hold your belt in place. This is a 50mm, which is, what's that? Is that 2 inches or is that 1.5 inches? Anyway, this is a 50mm belt from Core Essentials, and it fits perfectly. It keeps everything exactly where I need it to be. Now just underneath, so it's not all the way round, it's just on these front 2 belt loops, you have additional small loops underneath here. So if you have any tools, if you have something that you want to keep in your pocket, but you also want to make sure that it's attached to you, maybe it's a compass or a flashlight, then you can attach this to either of these loops, whether that's left or right, so that if it's in your pocket and it falls out, then it's always going to be attached to you, and you do have these 2 little kind of anchor loops here. Beneath, you have 2 fairly standard jeans style pockets, in the fact that these are jean style because you come in from the top, whereas more like a chinos, you probably come in from the side. The openings to these are nice and large. You certainly don't struggle being able to get your hands in. I would say, as far as the fit of the whole pair of shorts is concerned, I'd call this more of a regular fit rather than a tighter fit that you do get with some other ones, which again, it just means that getting your hands in and out of the pockets is fine. The pockets are reasonably large as well, so I have my car keys in here. I can put my hand in and I can open my entire span. Now I do know my entire span from here to here is exactly 9 inches. So being able to get that in here is great. You certainly don't have to worry about being able to get anything into your pocket. This is a Pixel 8, is it? The Google Pixel 8. And again, that fits in with no issues whatsoever at all. Now I do like the fact that they've also added, so here if you do want to put a flashlight or a knife or any sort of tool and you want to clip it onto your pocket, there is also a second layer of material here just to make sure that it's nice and tough, because as we all know, these are very high wear areas. The insides of the pockets themselves, the rear side is lined with the same material, and then on the front side it feels like a lighter, more kind of cottony material. So when you're putting your hands in against the back of your hand, that's where that lighter material is. Again, it just makes, I don't know, it's rare that I talk about how nice it feels putting your hand into your pockets, but I will say as an observation, putting your hands into these pockets is a nice experience. Let's just say. Now moving down from your main pockets, here on the right hand side you have, let's call this a utility pocket for now. I can put my mobile phone in there, and with this being the Pixel 8, it does actually cover your phone. A few of these that I've tested, it doesn't perfectly fit in. Now should you want to, you can also fit 556, 762 in here as well. It's just this side though. I did make some content on some Pentagon pants a while back, and I found the same. These are great for right-handed people. You put whatever it is that you want into this pocket. If you're doing range day kind of cool stuff with these and you're left-hander, it's lacking. If I was to change anything, now I'm kind of left-handed but predominantly right-handed, so it's not an issue for me, but if I was to change anything on these and give some feedback to Pentagon, I would just make sure that this pocket was also here as well for the left-handed community. Now beneath your utility pockets you then have these thigh pockets. Now the thigh pockets on here are right here on the front. In fact, I have my lens cap cover in there at the moment in time. This will become a little bit more clear why these are on the front here rather than being on the sides of your thighs. It makes sense to how they are because of, well, I mean, you've got this reinforced section here on the back. If these were to come here, it would disrupt this reinforced field here. So instead they've been put on the front. It's definitely different. I will say walking with these and having stuff in them feels kind of strange. I will admit that, because it's on the front, it's by your knee, and what you'll find is, like my phone's just done, it will kind of want to move just either to the right or to the outside of your knee. On a few occasions I found that it's wanting to move onto the inside of the knee, which made it feel even stranger. However, EDC use, things like driving in your car, even just being sat down at work in the office, having something so that it's on the front here has actually made it even easier to be able to get things out of my pocket whilst sitting. So I think there's definitely, I don't want to say pros and cons, but there's advantages and disadvantages of this, and I guess however you're wanting to use these will depend on whether that is something that you would prefer or don't prefer. So that's your front section here. Now I'm just going to kind of skip a little bit to the gusset here. The gusset on here, as you have with other, you have those kind of those star. It's almost like a diamond gusset. This doesn't have that on here, which again is mainly due to this rear panel. So I'd call this a fairly traditional gusset. All of the stitching on here, so on the front where you have your normal seams, it's either double or single stitched, whereas on the inside on these seams, because they're high wear abrasive areas, they're all triple stitched on here as well. Lastly, on the front you have your Pentagon logo here just on the left hand side. Now behind here you might see that there's almost an extra little bit of material. That is for these pockets here, so that these can expand if you need to put things in there. So that's the front. Now on the rear, let's just make sure they're in focus. On the rear you have two pockets here at the back, which I would consider to be fairly standard jeans style pockets, just below the waistband, pretty much centered on each buttock, so that you can get in, you can get your wallet, you can get whatever it is that you need to get in and out of here. There's no kind of sexy tactical ones or anything like that on here, although there is a slightly outdoorsy tactical nature to these. There's no additional pockets here at the back, which I'm fine with. That's not an issue whatsoever. And then because of the there's a small amount of elastin in here, you do get a nice stretch through the back, just here, just above the buttocks. So when you're bending down, when you're trying to pick things up, when you're sitting down, all of that sort of stuff, it just feels nice. It feels great, and they're very comfortable to wear. Now, the bit that I've alluded to and kind of pointed at a few times, which hopefully you'll be able to see, that there's clearly a difference in the fabrics. So you have the polyester polyamide version, and then you have this tougher version here. This is designed purely so that when you're outdoors, like I am now, I'm going to be doing some filming today, and I forgot to bring my seat mat with me, but luckily I have these. So if I need to sit down on one of the tree stumps that are all kind of dotted around, then this section here on the back is just going to make sure that I've got plenty of protection, and also to make sure that my bum stays a little bit drier if I do choose to sit on one of these as well. Now, one of the things that you will notice, I have had a fair few of these style trousers, shorts in the past, and you do find the same with these, and that is that in all of these other areas where you've got loads of stretch and they're great, doesn't restrict movement whatsoever, and then on the rear you also have this panel that's just a little bit tougher. You do notice that as you're moving, there's very little restriction here, but on the seat there's just a little bit more restriction. Now, not a lot, but just a little bit more. So you notice that, especially when you first have these, you'll feel the difference between the fabric on the front and the resistance from the fabric on the back. That again is either a good thing or a bad thing. It's completely down to you on you know, how you're going to be using these, and whether you would prefer some reinforcement in the rear and you're happy to just have a little bit less kind of elasticity through the rear. Personally, And I mentioned this in that kind of initial phase where you get these and you start to wear them and you're like, oh, it's just a different sensation. After you've worn them several times, you hardly even notice. You just get used to it. But just that initial phase, it just feels different. It just feels different. Not bad, not good, just different. Anyway, now after that, that's pretty much the rear done. Then we get down to the knees, and hopefully by this point you'll have noticed that the material finishes here, because these are short trousers, not full length trousers. So there's no kind of funky additional padding or anything like that in here, because they're shorts. Now for me, as I mentioned, so I'm 5 foot, I'm 5'10", probably about 5'9.5" now. I'm a little bit older, but these stop just about on the kneecap. For me, this is just about right. Obviously, if you're a little bit taller than me, you'll find that they do come up a little bit higher, but you know, such is life. The openings on the bottom, so they do have it's doubled over here, which is nice. On the front here, this is a little bit thicker than it is at the back. The main reason that it's a little bit thicker at the back here is that you've just got this single layer of material, and that's why when this is doubled over and then stitched, this is, I suppose, a double layer. But on the front here, this is where this pocket is, and it goes all the way down here. So you've actually got 2 layers here. So when this rolls over and then stitched, you've got 4 layers. It doesn't really mess with how they hang or how they fit or anything like that. Again, it's just an observation that you will notice that the hem on the bottom on the front is just a little bit kind of more thicker than the hem on the back. So there you have it, the Pentagon Renegade Savanna shorts. Very happy with these, very comfortable. I will say, so whilst I was away in Spain a few weeks back, the temperatures got up to about 35 degrees. They did get warm. Now, the caveat with that is, I'm a blue-skinned, red-haired Moorlander in a country that was about 35 degrees. I could have been butt naked, surrounded by ice cream, and I still would have been incredibly hot. But I will say that even though I was hot in these, I was still comfortable, and when I was able to get into areas where I could just kind of dry out a little bit, then I certainly had no issues there. So yeah, great pair of shorts. Now, of course, as always, I'll leave some links below for these. These were sent to me by Military First. Military First I've worked with for the last 4 or 5 years with my channel here. They are one of the UK's largest outdoors adventure military suppliers, online military suppliers here in the UK, but they both post here in the UK and out through to the rest of the world as well. They're an awesome team. They've supported my channel for quite some time, and yeah, I'm really kind of blessed that they do get to send me quite a lot of stuff. The relationship that I have with those is if I didn't like these, and I have pointed out some things that I would possibly change about these, so hopefully you'll see that this is a very fair piece of content. But they like my honesty, so they certainly don't throttle me with that sort of stuff. I do have a link. If you use Moorlander 10, you can get 10% discount off non-sale goods. Now, that's important that I stress that point. That's non-sale items. They do have a lot of sales. I think there's currently one on was 30% off certain items on the site. It's not an additional 10% to that 30%. It's only off non-sale items. But of course, as always, I'll leave some of those links below so that you can see more from Military First, you can see more from Pentagon. I'll also leave some of my social media links so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC, and also my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. And depending on which platform you're watching this on, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Hello. Always have to check the audio. It's an important thing to do because you get it wrong sometimes, Randy. And you have to come back and you get very angry because you have to come back and film it all again. Let's put this on silent. And I think it's about time we make some content. So what we're here today to look at are the Pentagon Renegade Savanna shorts. And as far as the materials are concerned, so these are made from a mix of polyester and elastin. Polyester and elastin. Polyester and elastin. Jesus Christ, your memory's shocking. A lot of flies today. How is everybody? How are you all doing? I don't stop to ask. How are you all doing? Let's hear in the comments below. How's your day been? How's your week been? We're nearly towards the end of July, 7 months into the year. How's your year been so far? Generally, I'm curious. How are you all? How's life? How's life treating you? A little bit different to the bloopers today, but yeah, genuinely, I hope everybody's good. Yeah, cool. I will see you soon. Now, you can go. See you in a bit.